This is going to be a video on the updates to the BlackBerry PRIV with the MARSHMALLOw OS update. So let me show you one of the updates, one of the changes. Let me go to camera, over there, and let's click on mode. When I click on the mode, you can see what comes up right away is the slow-mo video and the video. So you can do slow motion video in this. When you do slow motion, you will lose the audio, but you do get the capability of slow motion. So I'm going to go up to the wheel up here at the top of the screen, and I'm going to click on the wheel. And let's see what we get now. So this is one of the updates. I'm going to click on the video resolution. And these are the options that you get now, which you didn't get. Well, you used to get the 4K. But you get the 24 frames per second in 1080 and 720. So that is the slow-mo video that they're talking about. That's one of the new features of the OS. Here is an incredibly awesome feature that most of us who had a Bold are used to, is control over permissions. So let me go over to the DTEC for BlackBerry settings over here. And we'll go over to apps and permissions. You're going to recognize this. This is the reason to have a BlackBerry. Okay, so let's just look at Facebook. With the Android 5 and 6, your options are 0 because it says these are the permissions that this app wants, and you either accept it or you don't get to use the app. So let's click on Facebook. Now, the DTEC gives you some idea of what's going on. It shows what this app is doing. It's checked my location 35 times. What do we have up here? So you can get details for 7 months. But it shows that my camera hasn't been accessed, contacts haven't been accessed, microphone. So it gives you an idea of what this program, it's not tracking the calendar, so that's why it's not there. But let's go over here and let's click on location, which I turned off, but let's click off location. And when I do that, look at this. This is why we want the BlackBerry. Calendar, you can turn off the permissions for calendar or camera or contacts. You can see I turned off location. Microphone, you can turn that off. Phone, SMS, storage. So you get the option to turn off or turn on the permissions that you want this app to have access to. And that is the whole point of having a BlackBerry, is to have control over your permissions. What you're able to do with this version, which is really nice as long as you go in and change the options, is you can use words that are not acceptable, like bitch, bitch. Normally this would not come out unless you change the settings, so you can say words like bastard. Otherwise, boobs would not show up. They would show up with stars, a bunch of asterisks. So that's a nice feature. Oh, it didn't spell it right. Another really good feature is the predictive words. They're able to figure out with much more accuracy what you really want to say or type out. So you can see over there, and, the, on. That's assuming that those are going to be the first 3 words that I'm going to use for my sentence. But let's just type something. The. And you can see it is trying to figure out if I want to use the or if I want to use a variation of that THE. And I'll do a space. Now it's trying to figure out by what I've typed in the past what words I would want to use. And I have typed some messages using cabinets and cabinet, so that's over there. So it's a nice feature. The predictive typing is very nice. I do like the virtual keyboard, and I also enjoy the slide-out keyboard. I find that when I'm really lazy, I will use the virtual keyboard on the screen. and I'm much slower. I am not as accurate. I make tons of mistakes, and I'm just not good with it. But when I'm really getting serious and I want to type something fast and accurately, I will use the slide-out keyboard, and it's very good. It's a little smaller than the Bold, but it's still a very good keyboard and much easier to use than the lazy man's virtual keyboard on the screen. I am not going to show my BlackBerry Hub because it's got all of my accounts in there. The Hub is incredible. It is one reason to get a BlackBerry. It's so much easier to use than the old Bold 9900. You've got all your messages in there. You'll get your messages from your email, from the applications that you use. The new feature with the Marshmallow, it's updated it so you can get messages from Skype and Pinterest, or whatever you call that, Pinterest. So it's increased the apps that will work in the BlackBerry Hub. I've got mine set up. I get messages from the apps, plus I also get messages in the Hub. So it's an incredible way to maybe duplicate things, but I get to see at a glance what is going on, and if I delete or shut down the messages that are in the Hub, I can still get icons on the screen. They'll get a little star like you see over there that will let me know that there's email waiting for me to look at. So it will show up in the Hub, and it will also show up on the app letting me know what I need to do to clear this. So that's a nice feature. There are 200 more emojis. I've never used an emoji. I don't even know how to get it on the keyboard, but there are 200 more emojis in the Marshmallow version. And I'm trying to think of what else is in here besides the camera, the keyboard updates. There are some new features to make the phone go into a better sleep mode, so that if you have an application that you normally don't use and it's not active too often, it will put that application into a sleep type mode so it's not wasting battery power. And I think that's about it. There is one really cool feature that I'm going to, you just saw the thing shut off. There's a really neat feature that I'm going to set up on here, and it is so that when you're holding the phone will stay active if you move the phone. Normally right now when the phone goes dead, when it goes into sleep mode, you either have to press on the power button once or you have to tap on the screen a couple times to get it to come back. And instead of doing that, the new feature will allow you to just move the phone and it will take it out of sleep mode for you. You've got to check on your permissions for shutting the phone down and going into password mode to restart up, because changing some of these settings might make your security not as safe unless you require it to punch in a PIN or a password when you come out of that doze mode. So overall, the Marshmallow is a really nice upgrade. The phone is incredible. I did not want to upgrade from my Bold, and now I love this phone. I can't get enough of it. I'm very happy with it. It's expensive. It's worth every penny. You will love it. It is very easy to use, and it's an incredible upgrade. I can't say enough about it. Even without the Marshmallow update, it's just an awesome phone. So hopefully this video helped you. Oops, sorry about that. Hopefully this video helped you or convinced you one way or another which way to go. If you liked the video, maybe you want to do a thumbs up, a subscribe, a like, or go to my channel page and click on the support button and help me out with a couple $1 billion. I'd appreciate that. And if not, happy cell phoning with the BlackBerry. It is a darn good phone, and you will be happy if you buy it. This is one of the features that I wanted to show you that I was talking about. Hold to stay awake. So if you're holding the phone, I've got it shut off now, but if you're holding the phone, it won't go into sleep mode. You've got a lot of control over this phone. With the Bold, you were able to turn the phone on and off with a timer. You could set the clock to shut the phone off, and then the phone would turn on in the morning. You can't really do that with this phone. Well, you can't do it with this phone, but you do have some nice features, some nice options. You can see over there it's the automatically wipe, where if you don't put in the right password after 10 tries, it will wipe your cell phone to protect you in case somebody has stolen the phone. Hopefully nobody's going to steal my phone, but I have it, my last phone, I had it set up where it would do a wipe after 10 tries, and I messed up on something, and after 10 tries, I stood there and watched everything on my telephone get wiped out and deleted, and I was so unhappy and depressed and miserable. So I have turn that automatic wipe off, and hopefully the phone won't get stolen. If I need to, I can access the phone and find out where it is, and hopefully I should be able to wipe the phone, find the location, make the phone ring. So that's a nice feature. So I did shut off the automatic wipe. You can also, with this version, set up your SD card so that you can encrypt it. That way, if the phone is stolen, the phone is encrypted unless you turn that off. But that way, if the SD card is encrypted also, if they steal the phone and remove the SD card, all the files on there are going to be encrypted and they won't be able to view anything. So that's another nice feature of Marshmallow. The one last feature is Do Not Disturb. I just want to give you an idea of what's available here. You've got automatic rules and you've got priority only allows. And so you can set the phone up to allow reminders, events, alarms, messages. And the whole idea behind this is that when you do some of these settings over here, it's priority allow, but when you do these settings, automatic rules. So you can see you've got options on what you want to do. You can add a rule, event, you can set it when it goes on. So say, for example, you want to set this to go on a weeknight at 11 o'clock and you want to shut it off at the daytime at 8 in the morning. What you can do is go on to set these settings up and then allow priorities to go through, meaning that if you only want your phone to ring as a priority, that will ring through between the nighttime you set it up and the morning when you shut it off, and all other text messages or notifications won't go through. So you have a lot of control over, the phone will not shut off. You will definitely not be able to turn the phone off like you did with the Bold, but you can turn off the notifications or you can turn on the notifications. You can tell the phone what you want it to allow to go through and what you don't, at what time that's going to start, at what time it's going to shut off, or you can set it with your alarm clock. And the thing everybody wants to know about battery life. I don't really use the phone for a lot of phone calls. I use it for social media, emails, text messages, and this thing has been going for most of the day, probably 12 hours, and you can see it's at 87%. So the battery's incredible. I think it would probably go for at least 2 or 3 days if you really weren't getting lots of notifications and you just have the telephone on. But the battery is much better than the Bold. Even though the Bold would last all day, this will last more than that, maybe a day or two. If you've got the BlackBerry PRIV and you've got the new Marshmallow OS, you'll be really happy with this feature. You know how when you want to take a photograph with the version 5 or 6 of Android, and you go click on the camera, and so you got to find the icon, you have to click on the camera, it takes forever. If the phone is locked, you have to press your passcode or your password, and then you've got to get over to the home screen. You might not be on the home screen, you might be having an app open. You got to click to the home screen, then you press on the camera icon, and by the time you get to that point and get the camera open, the hot-looking babe that was walking down the street is gone, and you're pissed. Well, you don't want that to happen. So if you've got the new Marshmallow upgrade, you go over to here to the power button. Pretty awesome. You go to the power button and you click it twice really fast. I'm going to do that with this index finger. And check that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's amazing. The camera's open. So that's one of the new features of this. I think that's worth going over to my channel page and clicking on the support button and helping me out a little bit, don't you? Okay, so let's go on to the next cool feature. Next feature I want to show you is, let's go click on the settings icon, and we'll go over to, I'm doing this by reading through a camera, so it's a little more difficult to do this, but we'll click on display. And then what I want to show you is one of the new features in here. Let's see where it's at. There's so many really cool options with this new phone. And there it is over there, lift to wake. If you normally put your phone down, it will go into sleep mode after your display setting. So if you have the display setting to put it into sleep mode after 2 minutes, After 2 minutes, the phone will go into sleep mode. And then you've got to go through the whole process to wake it up. If you click on if you move this arrow over here, this little switch for lift to wake, when you lift up your cell phone, the phone will wake. You might have some problem with your password settings or your PIN codes that you might have to deal with this, but for security reasons. But lift to wake will make your telephone work again without it being in sleep mode and you having to press a lot of buttons. The problem with that is it uses a lot of battery. So you're going to be waking the phone constantly. You might use your battery up. Probably not, but that's a nice feature that's in there. So we'll go on to the next feature now. We've already done the camera button and the lift to wake. We're in the settings feature up at the top. You can see still haven't moved out of there. And let me go to the advanced interactions. This is all new. This is the same stuff that I just showed you that was in the BlackBerry 10 OS. You have flip to mute, flip to save power, and hold to stay awake. 3 features that everybody used in the OS 10 that are now in the Marshmallow OS. Another feature for Marshmallow is in Bluetooth. Let's go over to Bluetooth. We're on Bluetooth. You go up at the top over here, click that, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Rename this device. You can now change the name on the device so that you will know what the device is that you're looking for when you're trying to match up Bluetooth to, or you're trying to pair it together. So that's a new feature, rename this device. And there's one more, and then I'm going to shut down this video. So if you like this stuff, help me out. A thumbs up, a subscribe, or a like would help. Last feature, we're on security. We're going to settings, and we're going to go to security down at the bottom over here. Where is security? Right there. We're going to click on security. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to look for something called screen pinning. I've got it off. This is what it does. It allows you to have control over your phone. So say, for example, that you are going to give the phone to your friend and you only want them to be able to use Snapchat or Twitter or Facebook and nothing else. You don't want them to have access to any of these buttons. You don't want them to be able to look at your data. You don't want them to be able to get out of the app and look at what's on your cell phone. You go over to screen pinning and you get complete access to controlling the cell phone so that they can't do anything but stay in this one app. They cannot view your files. They can't go to your SD card. They can't do anything except stay in that one app. So that's the whole idea of screen pinning, a new feature in Marshmallow, and I believe it was also in version 5 and 6 of Android.